and happy holidays. Thank you for being here today. I'm Barbara Leslie, CEO of the Oakland Metro Chamber of Commerce, and we represent thousands of Oakland businesses and employees across all of Oakland. First, I want to extend my gratitude and our Chamber's gratitude to the Governor for being here today and for your leadership in deploying CHP officers as well as increased technology resources to address the escalating crime in our city. Working alongside OPD, these efforts have had tangible and positive impacts on reducing crime, and we are truly grateful for your partnership. Public safety is the primary concern for businesses when making decisions where to locate, expand, or more concerning right now, whether to stay in Oakland at all. The ripple effect this is having on our small businesses, retailers, and restaurants is devastating, and especially in the wake of pandemic and the pandemic recovery. That's why the Chamber has been leading efforts to address this with Measure NN, recently passed by the voters, ensuring continued funding for crime prevention and protection. We've also secured funding for technology upgrades and investments in key areas of our downtown area, which are now expanding across the city as an additional tool and resource for our public safety officers. At the same time, we have a growing concern with Oakland's restrictive vehicle pursuit policy. While we support a balanced approach, Oakland cannot afford to now continue to be an outlier. Criminals know they can act with little consequence, putting our residents, workers, and visitors at risk. We need our mayor, our city council, and our police commission to collaborate on finding a better balance between protecting our residents and pursuing criminals and crimes when they are happening. Businesses and residents deserve to feel safe in our city. They deserve to feel confident in our city. A comprehensive public safety strategy that utilizes all available tools and resources will send a strong message to Oakland that Oakland is committed to protecting its people and ensure a thriving economy. Thank you very much. I would now like to introduce my friend, colleague, and senior pastor at Acts Full Gospel Church, Bishop Bob Jackson.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here today to support the efforts that our governor is trying to do in the city of Oakland, and we want to thank the governor for an outstanding job and the California Highway Patrol for coming into our aid, because he's one of the only persons that seem to really care about our city, and we're really thankful to the governor and to the California Highway Patrol for doing a wonderful, wonderful job, and we can't thank them enough. There is some changes that we're looking forward to as far as the leadership in the city of Oakland. We know we've had a trying time with that. Some of the suggestions that I wanted to make today, very briefly, was that Measure X need to go, first of all, because giving the power to the mayor to do the things that the mayor is doing, it need to go back to the city manager, and we need a city manager like we had before. And not only that, but getting rid of that ranked choice voting, we think is a real problem in the city of Oakland, because we end up with people that are not qualified to be over the city, and the city ends up going down, down, down. And if you check, when we started doing it, it has caused us more problem than it's worth. The Oakland Charter needs to be adjusted to what we're doing today and what's going on today, which would help us with this pursuit situation, because we need to change the charter around so it reflects what's going on today and not what went on yesterday. The pursuit policy that we have, we need to really take a good hard look at it. California Highway Patrol has a pursuit policy where they can pursue, but we can't in Oakland, and it's unfair to me that our police officers are not allowed to do it because of some kind of city ordinance or charter that we put together. That needs to all change, so we're hoping for that. And finally, I heard somebody say we need to make Oakland great again, and so that's what we're really looking forward to. I know the city, I've been here 79 years. I know the time when we didn't even use a key to go into our door. We didn't have no reason to lock it, because crime was never like it is today. So again, I want to thank California Highway Patrol, and especially our governor, for coming to our aid and for helping us in the city of Oakland. Thank you very much. So following me today is speaking as Deputy Commissioner Ezra Beauchamp, and he's coming at this particular time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bishop Jackson. It's an honor and a privilege to be here today, standing side by side with our CHP officers, the governor, and community leaders. And the CHP recognizes that we have a great responsibility as the California State Police to assist our sheriff's departments and our police departments in combating crime here in California. And it's a responsibility that we take very seriously. Today, I would like to discuss some of the ways that we've been doing this throughout communities in California. We believe every person in this state deserves to be safe, whether they're working here, living here, or visiting here. And we acknowledge the role that police plays in ensuring that this is able to happen and that criminals are held accountable when they do things and violate the law and when they prey on the weak. In the spirit of this, and at the governor's direction, the CHP has entered into partnerships with the communities of San Francisco, Oakland, Bakersfield, and San Bernardino. These proactive approaches have allowed us to embed ourselves within the communities, working side by side with the police departments and doing high visibility, proactive police enforcement. We've also focused on auto theft and retail theft. And just like the CHP officers you see standing here beside me and throughout the state of California, they have done a phenomenal job and deserve our sincere appreciation, as the bishop has noted. One of the areas we've focused on is retail theft. We have done 47% more investigations in 2024 versus 2023, and we've made over 1,400 arrests so far this year. Just last Friday, the CHP partnered with law enforcement agencies throughout the state of California, from San Diego to the Bay Area, to do a blitz at malls and other retail locations. From this, we made 117 arrests, recovered over $38,000 in stolen merchandise, removed 2 illegal firearms off the street, and also recovered 3 stolen vehicles. One of the cases I would like to point out that has the role that the CHP can play as a statewide agency is we arrested an individual who had stolen $660 worth of goods at Sephora in Walnut Creek, and through our investigation, we're able to tie them and an accomplice to retail theft that had taken place in Manteca and Turlock. The other area I'd like to focus on is how we're using technology that's ever evolving to combat crime here in California. We were able to, with the governor's support, in record time, install 480 flock cameras on state right-of-way and in the city of Oakland in only a 9-month period. This technology has been a game changer for the California Highway Patrol. Through this, we have access not only to these 480 cameras, but 12,500 flock cameras throughout the state of California. This has allowed us to successfully go after criminals for attempted murder on our freeways, vehicles that pursue from us, hit and run, stolen vehicles, and other felonies. I would also like to address requests that we've received from other municipalities, principally Vallejo and Antioch. We have considered those requests, and I believe it is important for everyone to note we don't have infinite resources as the California Highway Patrol to go in and take over police responsibilities. Now, our applications are up over 30% from year to date, and we have 400 cadets currently in the academy right now. But in the Bay Area alone, the 9 Bay Area counties, we currently have a 14% vacancy rate. With that said, we do recognize we need to assist the city of Vallejo. And since July, we have had CHP officers, as they're working their beats out of our Fairfield office, that they go off the freeway, and they've made over 600 traffic enforcement stops. They've made 32 arrests, and they've assisted the Vallejo Police Department on over 40 active incidents. The commissioner has spoken with the sheriff of Solano County, and we're committed to working with their interim chief, Jason Taw, and also the sheriff to help combat sideshows and illegal street racing that is plaguing the community. One final point I'd like to address: as we work alongside these police agencies, it has become evident to us as the state police how overly restrictive police policies benefit the criminals and not the communities within California. Criminals are fully aware that when lights come on in certain communities, in certain municipalities, that the police are not allowed to chase them. We have had CHP officers who pursue individuals and upon arresting them have had the criminals tell us they didn't think we were allowed to chase them. That type of situation only benefits the criminals. It does not benefit the people that are being victimized here in California by crime. The efforts we have made in Oakland are reducing crime, and I don't pretend to understand everything that's gone into that, but what I know and what I recognize is that through our enforcement efforts, through the installation of the flock cameras and working alongside OPD, that we have seen a decrease in crime. Our efforts have resulted in 139 guns being taken off the streets in Oakland. And we need to recognize when police can't stop individuals for committing crime, that those criminals get away with more and more crime. So far this year, we as an agency have been involved in over 500 pursuits in the city of Oakland, but within that, we've arrested 155 felons. If those agencies had gone after those individuals, they wouldn't have been captured, and we'd have 155 more felons out on the street victimizing their community. Police pursuits are dangerous, and we recognize that. That is why we need active supervision and active management during police pursuits, policies that make sense and have a common sense approach to policing. But let me be clear, when a criminal flees from the police, it is the community that is suffering, and it is the criminal that is putting people in jeopardy. As we move forward into the new year, the CHP remains committed to combating crime and partnering with our law enforcement agencies, and we know working together we can help to make a meaningful impact. And at this time, I'd like to introduce the Governor, Gavin Newsom.
Thank you, Ms. Leslie. Thank you for that overview. All of you, thank you for the opportunity to check back in and to continue come back to Oakland, because I said this many occasions, I'll repeat it again, we have your back. The reality is, however, we're at a point, an inflection point, in terms of the state's support. We want to extend that support. That support, as you know, significantly increased. The CHP was tasked in July to quadruple the enforcement efforts and the partnership with the city of Oakland. That commitment was to expire by the end of the month. We're going to extend that commitment, but not for an open-ended period of time. We're at that point in time that we need to see some commensurate support and reforms and changes as it relates to policing here in Oakland in order to consider extending this state-subsidized partnership. We specifically are going to need to see changes in the pursuit policy here in Oakland. This has been called out over the course of many months. The Deputy Commissioner just highlighted a remarkable story that has been shared on multiple occasions to me and others of suspects that have been pursued that were shocked that they were actually pulled over because in the past, presumably, they had not been. They had been told, perhaps in other cases and instances, that there are consequences. You could be drunk, you can run a red light, you can come close to side-swiping a school bus during the morning hours right in front of a police officer, and the pursuit policy in Oakland says we cannot pursue that suspect. We cannot engage that suspect. Reckless driving, someone that literally puts people's lives at risk, that occurs right in front of an officer in a vehicle. That officer cannot, under this extreme pursuit policy here in Oakland, pursue that suspect. This is an outlier in the state of California. It may be an outlier in the United States of America. It's an extreme outlier in the state of California. And so we need to see this pursuit policy change. In July, I wrote a letter to the police commission. I wrote a letter to the city council. I wrote a letter to local leaders, the mayor at the time, requesting some common sense. Not going back to an extreme. We're not looking for an old binary here. We're trying to take best practices across the state, for that matter, across the nation. It's been a decade now since that policy was reverted, and to update it. In September, the police commission had that opportunity to do so, and they decided not to do it. We need to see that policy changed. This commitment from the state can't continue unless we see commensurate changes with our partners here in Oakland. This partnership has been extraordinarily successful. And it's a partnership that is not just exclusive to law enforcement. This partnership is much more comprehensive. And I want to just remind everybody of that. This is not a law enforcement only engagement in Oakland, or for that matter, Alameda County. Quite the contrary. Caltrans' commitment, a 10-point specific plan that we put out in July on beautification, on state investments to deal with quality of life, to support our local nonprofits, continues to this day. It's not exclusively a law enforcement posture only. That said, the law enforcement component has been critical, not only the supplemental as it relates to the quadrupling, again, of this initiative, but also the work that the Deputy Commissioner highlighted as it relates to the flock cameras. Those 480 flock cameras went up, as he noted, in record time. 290 of them are within the city jurisdiction in Oakland, about 190 of them on state right-of-ways adjacent to the city of Oakland. You've already seen the benefits of those cameras. And you've also seen the protocols that are in place as it relates to concerns around privacy and how those cameras are utilized as it relates to aiding and supporting law enforcement. But we also saw what the voters expressed in pretty clear terms. They want change. They're demanding change. There's no longer an Alameda County district attorney. There's no longer a mayor. There's an interim mayor here in Oakland. The voters have spoken. And we need to see the change that the people of Oakland, and for that matter, folks here in Alameda County, deserve. And we are prepared to continue to support those efforts, but we need to see commensurate reforms locally. I want to thank President Adams, who's here, the NAACP, for their extraordinary clarity and support of these efforts, for calling us all out, for calling us to a higher level of commitment, to the bishop for doing the same, demanding more of the state, demanding more of all of us in advancing this partnership. I also want to call out two council members that are here, Houston and Jenkins. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for having our backs. Thank you for having backed this partnership for some time. And thank you for your commitment and resolve to see what you two can do to help advance this broader effort and need and desire to see the kind of change that all of us are expecting here in Oakland. Proud of this city. I grew up a stone's throw away. When I was mayor of San Francisco, we looked across the bay at envy at Oakland. We used to call it the Brooklyn of the Bay, and that was a deep compliment. The number of businesses that were coming to downtown Oakland, the revitalization of the neighborhoods, the restaurants, the culture, the artistic expression. And this is a spectacular city. It remains a spectacular city, but it's lost its way a little bit. It's lost a little bit of confidence. But we can revise that. That sense of spirit and pride is all about community, and that's why I'm here, to sort of reinvigorate that sense of optimism and possibility back into Oakland. But it starts foundationally with public safety. It's at a tipping point. We were just talking, Barbara made the point, how many businesses are today deciding what to do tomorrow, next quarter, next year? Are they going to renew their leases? They need to see change now. They need to see demonstrable resolve, and they need to see this partnership advance. But in return, that partnership requires that local change and local support. So that's why we're here, with gratitude and appreciation for the progress to date. And I'll just close with deeper gratitude and appreciation for the men and women in uniform, to the California Highway Patrol, on behalf of Commissioner Deary, on behalf of our Deputy Commissioner. Thank you guys for all the extraordinary work you guys do every single day. I don't think you've ever been tasked or asked to do more in the last few years than you've been asked to do across a spectrum of issues. And demonstrably, final point, those results are in hand. You saw the 117 arrests on December 20th in partnership with 56 retailers and 10 local jurisdictions, a proactive policing partnership that was made possible because of a year-long effort that you have advanced, where we have saturated and supported local law enforcement agencies all up and down this state, particularly around organized retail theft, property crimes, issues related to vehicles, issues related to guns that we believe were used in crimes. I want to thank you for that. 1,347 arrests in those operations since February. 2,500 vehicles that were stolen have been recovered since that operation started. Partnerships that have been formed here in Oakland, in San Bernardino, in Bakersfield, as was noted. Commitments that we've made in Antioch and Vallejo that we want to expand upon with conditions, and partnerships that have been formed because of the largesse of the legislature, with $267 million in grants that went to 55 jurisdictions in this state, an unprecedented level of support for vertical prosecution and investigations to address the issues of property crime in this state. It's bearing fruit, and your labor has been determinative and demonstrable. So thank you, all of you, the Highway Patrol, for an outstanding job. With that, we're all here.
Hi, Governor. Monica Madden, ABC 7 News. Thanks for having us. Today, San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins just announced the first person charged with retail theft charges under Prop 36 because of the 2 prior convictions. Do you know if there have been any arrests within the last month by the task force that are now enabled under Prop 36, and do you still feel the same since you did not endorse that earlier this year?
Well, I don't know the details of the local DA's charging of a specific case, but I do know this, that the legislature advanced 12 specific bills. Prop 36 never included organized retail theft, never addressed that issue, never addressed the issue of vehicle crimes, never addressed the issue of multi-jurisdictional prosecutions. It primarily addressed the issue of nonviolent drug possession. As it relates to the 12 bills that were advanced in the legislature, as you know, they'll go in effect in January. As it relates to Prop 36 in this specific instance, I'll leave it to the district attorney to talk more about why she decided to charge him.
There also, this week in Alameda County, have been at least 5 different smash and grabs. I mean, what do we do to continue preventing those, in addition to the retail theft ones that you've been touting?
Rewind the tape. That's why we're here. That's the partnership that we're committing to continue to advance. It's the change the voters spoke loudly up as it relates to the 2 recalls in the region. Our commitments remain as it relates to supporting those complex cases in the Alameda County DA's office. We want to continue those partnerships with the state's Department of Justice. We want to continue to support supplementing the efforts here, but in return we need to see subsequent reforms here in Oakland that specifically address your issue. And as it relates to the smash and grabs, again, outside the purview of Prop 36, important that this is part of the conversation for the public. Those are included specifically as it relates to the package of bills that the legislature advanced and I signed in August of this year, the vast majority of which go into effect on January 1st in the new year.
Mr. Governor, a good morning to you on this Friday. It's Eitan Wallace here with Nexstar Media stations across California. First question is from our affiliate down in Bakersfield in Kern County, NBC KGET 17 and Telemundo Bakersfield. They just want to know overall, how are you feeling about the operations down there in Kern County with CHP? I know you mentioned that a little bit. How is it going in Bakersfield?
Well, it's going very well, again, in the spirit of collaboration and partnership. The mayor, Mayor Go, has been a great partner to us. The county has been very supportive in Kern, the sheriff's office, local law enforcement have embraced and supported these operations. We consistently, I think we refer to as Takedown Tuesdays, update the public as it relates to the details of those efforts. And unsurprisingly in Bakersfield, as was mentioned, we just had a private meeting with folks. Many may be surprised. Bakersfield and Kern County consistently remain the most dangerous parts of our state. Last 5 or so, maybe 5 out of 6 years, within a margin, I believe I'm accurate, the murder capital of California. And so it's incredibly important that these partnerships succeed, and I'm very, very prideful of the local support we've received.
Thank you so much. And this follow-up question, a little bit off topic. Just last time I saw you, well, one of the last times in Colusa County, I just asked you, based on your podcast, Politic, and I know you had said on that podcast that you had tried to reach out to President-elect Donald Trump, and that was unsuccessful. Any update there? Also, just a quick follow-up on the last time I also saw you. You had told me that you were thinking maybe the upcoming budget presentation in January might be a State of the State.
Yeah.
How is that coming? So sorry, two questions.
Still thinking the same way. I think the viewership likely will be down this year if I do another 2-hour budget presentation. I'm not sure it was ever particularly high, the 2-hour budget presentation. So I thought I would perhaps do everybody a favor by collapsing them into one presentation, which I'm looking forward to doing in a week or so. As it relates to the president, we haven't had a chance to discuss, and we haven't had a chance to talk, forgive me, since his election to office.
Leah Russell from the Sacramento Bee. I have a couple questions. First, going back to Prop 36, how do you respond to local leaders, for example, Sacramento officials who claim that they are already getting results after charging retail theft suspects under the new proposition, given that you proposed it?
I think that's fabulous. By the way, they'll have many more tools with the 12 bills that the state passed that are much broader, nuanced, and more inclusive than the 1 or 2 specific components as it relates to retail theft and Prop 36. Again, Prop 36 tended to differentiate itself from the work the legislature already had done. In this regard, it has much more to do with non-violent drug possession, up to 3 years felony and state mandatory prison sentences if drug treatment on demand is not successfully provided. The challenge is it locks in a requirement, but it locks out money, because at the same time it cuts drug treatment money for local government. That's a conundrum for local municipalities, and one that I'm very concerned about and will continue to remain concerned about, and therein lies my concern and opposition to that initiative. Not on the retail theft side, quite the contrary. We went back to 2021 when we established this new task force and framework. Hundreds of millions of dollars have invested in this space in a much more comprehensive approach to addressing these issues in those package of bills. So I applaud any effort to address the issue of retail theft. I've been applauding that for years and years, and I'm very grateful to the work of the California Highway Patrol in particular of advancing those efforts.
And switching topics, the HUD's point-in-time count came out today showing the highest recorded population of homelessness nationwide. It looks like about 2/3 of our population here in California is unhoused. How do you respond to that, given your support
Well, I haven't
for
had a
grants
chance
passed?
to review the details, but I do understand this important detail, that you saw nationwide increase. It was one of the most substantial we've seen in decades. I think 18.13%, 3.13% here in the state of California. We've seen a significant decline in the growth in the state of California. And on the unsheltered side, I think it was statistically flat at 0.45%. So progress, as well as on the sheltered side, up 8.9%. That is a very good statistic as it relates to the work we're doing to get people sheltered and to get people the support that they deserve. 40 states saw larger increases than California. We're making progress, but we have to continue to do more. And that progress, again, in the spirit that brings me back to Oakland, is realized locally. States provided unprecedented support, flexibility. Local government has to deliver. Here in Oakland, across the state, hundreds of cities, time to step up, address the issue of encampments, address the issue of tents, address what's happening on the streets and sidewalks. It's about quality of life. It's about public safety. The people of the state have spoken loudly. They want to see results. No more rhetoric, no more press conferences. They want to see results. They want to see them tangibly, and they want to see our efforts done in a way that's consistent with the values that we hold dear in our state.
Thank you.
Hi, Governor. Valina Jones with NBC Bay Area. Obviously, a lot of pressure being put on the police commission here in Oakland. Do you have a sense of the timeline of when they could take action to change that policy?
Last September. I mean, sense of urgency now. I'm working here on a holiday weekend to be. They can call a special session. I don't know what the vernacular is for the police commission, but a special meeting. They can do so with urgency, with focus, conviction to address the issue at hand, the crisis at hand. I would expect and demand that they do of sorts, and the demand comes with this, not a closed fist, but an open hand of support, but that cannot continue in an open way it has in the past without expecting something in return. So I hope the police commission can move, and I may move, if I may, from this mic and ask two city council members that are here what their thoughts may be. This is called putting them on the spot.
So, Councilmember Jenkins here. In September, Councilmember Reed and I sent something to the Police Commission asking them to review the policy. They did not do any substantial changes. So what's happened as of late, Councilmember-elect Houston and I have spoken with the city administrator. The city administrator is going to help the OPD chief come up with a policy, and that will go to the Police Commission. As the governor said, we need this with urgency. We don't want our police chasing folks for jaywalking, but we do want a balanced approach. And with a new council coming on, 4 new council members, overwhelmingly, there is support for changing this policy in an urgent manner.
Councilmember Ken Houston-elect, the governor has shown support. He had an open hand and a closed fist at the same time. We need change. Change is coming. Change is coming. We have the leadership of Gavin Jenkins, and we are going to support. We're going to ask the police commission, enough is enough. The governor said, Oaklanders have spoken. We have spoken. We want public safety. We want change. At the same time, we want embracement. I'm here. I'm not a politician, but I'm definitely going to take the leadership of Gavin Jenkins and the leadership of our great governor. He is a community partner. He is partners. He showed his dedication and urgency. Is urgency. Oakland deserves better.
If there is not urgency taken, what is your concern about the impacts that Oakland will see after we've had this huge reduction in crime?
Look, I don't want to be threatening here. I care too much about this community, but things have to change, and so we're gonna. What you just heard gives me confidence. What the voters did, I hope, gives everybody a little bit of backbone as well, to recognize the public's behind them if they pursue change. And this is one of many things we can be doing, and no one's naive here. And I appreciate, I'm a former mayor, I deeply understand bottom up, not top down, one size doesn't fit all, notion of cultural competency, investing in community building, investing in alternatives and opportunities and prevention, all of those things continue and need to continue, and we want to do what we can as a state to support them. At the same time, we've got to stop the bleeding. And that's what this is about. It's about a pout and interrupt. And we've been doing it. We've seen success. We want to continue to see that success, and we'll see more success with this policy change. I think it will be very, very impactful. Otherwise, we wouldn't be pursuing it. We wouldn't be demanding it. We wouldn't be calling for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sarah Ravani from the San Francisco Chronicle. I have two questions. One, a technical question, just how many CHP officers are operating in Oakland as part of the surge?
Well, we always do estimates because we don't want to preview in detail, but our surges tend to run about 20 to 30 officers, plus or minus, depending on the unannounced surges. We've got a baseline of additional 14 on top of, again, existing support that's already provided with the CHP in Oakland. That's on top of that. We've got K-9 units, we've got investigative units on commercial, on retail. All of those, again, additional supplementary supports.
My next question might be for Councilmember Jenkins in Houston, but if the Police Commission declines to take the chief's proposed policy into consideration, is there anything that council can do to compel them or to demand it, I guess?
Yeah. So the Police Commission has 120 days once OPD has a new policy. If they don't take it up, it becomes the policy, whatever the chief had put in. If they disagree with the policy, then it's kicked up to council, and council will get to decide.
Thank you.
And again, they're not reinventing the wheel here. Again, Oakland's an extreme outlier. Hundreds and hundreds of cities operate with very different pursuit policy, all of them different nuance, different policy frameworks. There's a statewide organization called POST, which is our police officer standards and training group that lays out best practices. So those menu options exist and alternatives persist in other jurisdictions, including almost every single jurisdiction in this region. So this is not something that's particularly complicated. It's just a question of commitment and urgency. Forgive me.
Thank you, Governor. Da from KPIX, the CBS affiliate here in San Francisco. Just want to follow up and clarify, too, if the conditions are met in the change in policies, the pursuit policy, how much longer would you guys commit yourself to here? Is there a carrot that you're dangling in front of City Council to get them to change their
So
policy?
full transparency, I have folks here said, give them 30 days and that's it, period, we're done. People are frustrated. We put out a letter in July of last year and they turned their back. They didn't change the policy. They had a chance in September to move the policy, they didn't do it. My folks said, we're done. I said, hold on, I care too much, again, about Oakland. This is not just me preening here. I mean it, I'm serious. And so I didn't do it. I didn't take their advice. But I'm going to lose support, some of my folks, because they're getting requests all across the state, and we have active partners all across the state that have stepped up. I can't turn my back on them either. So this is not open-ended. We need to see the change. And again, this is not the job. The California Highway Patrol is not the job to supplement. Folks in Vallejo, don't think. I just want the folks in Vallejo to know, you're not getting the CHP to do the work of local law enforcement. I think there's some speculation. They think somehow, well, the state's going to come in and provide this support for free. They have a lot of empty, vacant positions, which I guess they get budget savings. And instead of contracting, for example, with the sheriff's office in the county, they're hoping to get the state to do it for free. We're not going to be in that business. We are in the business of support, and you see what we're doing in Vallejo. We're supporting the Alameda County Sheriff, or rather the Solano Sheriff. And we appreciate Solano Sheriff's partnership with the CHP. We appreciate the acting police commissioner who's in good faith working with the California Highway Patrol. But again, we have our limits. forgive the long-windedness of the response.
And lastly, you know Barbara Lee well. There are a lot of labor folks who are urging her to run, but there are some folks who are concerned about a Ron Dellums 2.0. Your thoughts, since you know her really well,
I
in
love
terms of-
Ron Dellums, so, but that's just personal. I miss him. What a legend.
The question is...
I got soft feelings for Ron, but
Yeah.
I have no opinion about what you should do here in Oakland as it relates to the mayor's race. As a former candidate and a former mayor myself, I'm sensitive to those local decisions, and I'll leave it to the folks here. That was the case with the recall as well. And we did our best to work in partnership with the former district attorney in Alameda County. That showed its limits, and I think the public spoke. We worked with the former mayor. She embraced a lot of the reforms, and we were grateful for that, but people clearly wanted to move in a different direction. And so we want to support that shift in direction, but I'm not here necessarily shape shift where that direction ultimately should go as it relates to determination of your next mayor.
Thank you.
Sadama Warrior with Innovation. Good afternoon. The question is a little bit off topic, given this effort of multi-jurisdiction. Drugs have been one of the issues here in the Bay Area. What is the effort that the state has been doing to stop the transport of large quantities to the Bay Area and within the Bay Area? Because District Attorney from San Francisco has stated that most or a big part of the drugs that is sold and bought in San Francisco come from Alameda County, especially Oakland, and is being transported there.
Well, the Deputy Commissioner may talk about this more. One of the things I'm very prideful when I talked about that Swiss Army knife, as I was referring to the California Highway Patrol, one of the significant achievements of the California Highway Patrol is the partnership they formed with the National Guard and other local jurisdictions, including a lot of our federal jurisdictions, as it relates to addressing the issue of multinational issues related to transnational, drug interdiction, particularly as it relates to fentanyl. I was down at the border recently highlighting 392 National Guard men and women that have been working down at that border in partnership with Border Patrol, but also in partnership with state agencies and local agencies to address some of that flow that you describe within the state of California. We update the success of that operation on a consistent basis, and perhaps the Deputy Commissioner could talk a little bit more granularly, without getting into too much detail, about how some of those partnerships are advanced, particularly in this region.
Thank you, Governor. One of the major ways we focus on that is through combating crime, is through our canine officers who are trained to detect drugs. We have one of the largest canine operations in the state. Some of our canine dogs are currently trained to detect fentanyl, but others are not. So every single narcotics officer in the state of California with the CHP is going to be trained to detect fentanyl. Additionally with that, it's the intelligence gathering and sharing that happens up and down the state. And it's the training of our officers so that the road patrol officer is able to detect indications of not only drug use, but drug transportation. And additionally with that, we've started a pilot program down in Southern California at the truck scales where large quantities of drugs come through, of having dogs at the scales for the detection of the large quantities that come through, not on any set time or any set schedule, because you don't want those who are involved in the transportation to be aware of when it may happen. And so working together, we feel that we can help to drive down that. And you see the work that has been done in San Francisco, kilos and kilos and kilos of fentanyl taken off the street because of proactive traffic enforcement, making traffic enforcement stops for mechanical violations, and then finding indications of drug transportation and drug use, hence then making our communities safer.
And just maybe a point of interest to folks, this whole framework was initiated on this issue in San Francisco. The partnership with the CHP and the National Guard, our JAGs in particular, embedded with the district attorney, who has been a great partner in San Francisco in these efforts, was very successful as we launched this framework and this new task force within the region to address some of those flow issues. From that success came Oakland, as the second partner in what now is multi-partnerships up and down the state, as I noted, from San Bernardino, Bakersfield, and in Oakland now included. Thank you. Well, with that, I just want to thank everybody and wish everybody a happy, safe, and new year, and we look forward to the reforms here in Oakland. Thank you all very much.